Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm your host, Jeff Howard, and I've got Kathryne Isabelle Easton with me in person. Hey.
Hello.
We just did a great interview. The podcast before this, you can learn all about Kathryne's upbringing and her movements from singing to theater to screenwriting, moving across the country, all kinds of cool stuff. And you should check out her film, Borrelia Borealis, feature film. Took home 2 awards at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival in 2021, which was just 3 months ago. Yeah. And now it's on VOD everywhere. Rent it. Apple, this, that, the other, iTunes.
Amazon, Vudu, Fandango, ATT Uverse.
Yeah, ATT Uverse, probably DirecTV.
DirecTV.
Awesome. And it's spelled Borrelia, Borrelia. If you look, which is cool. It's early in the alphabet because I think like DirecTV and AT&T and stuff, it's alphabetical. So
yeah.
People don't have to scroll so far to get you.
Very colorful poster as well. So
very cool, colorful poster. But this podcast is actually not about the film. We covered the film last podcast. This one is about Kathryne answering the 4 questions, which are favorite films of all time, an underrated film, an overrated film, and a lesser-known film that people should seek out. So I'm not going to get in the way anymore. I'm just going to shut up and let Kathryne give the answer. I believe she has one. She warned me she's got one favorite film she's going to name.
Yeah. So I really thought about this for weeks. I thought about this if I really had to distill like what the favorite would be. And I think what I decided on is The Goonies. Are you surprised?
I'm not. Although I guess I have to share that I totally get it. I bet you've seen that more than any other film. You're the perfect age. You're probably you're just a little younger than the people in the film, but you were a kid and you saw like the greatest adventure for kids ever. Yeah.
It's an adventure film, and it's actually kind of if you really think about the Goonies and what it does, there's a lot of films that are like the Goonies or tried to be like the Goonies. And like a lot of, like I've had a lot of arguments with people where they're like, well, it's either you're a Stand By Me person or you're a Goonies person. And I'm like, they are not the same. And I love Stand By Me. It's a great film. But as far as like capturing, like, we're kids and we don't have any power, but we're going to stick it to the adults and we're going to do what we can. And it's just, I don't know, it captures a spirit of fearless adventure that you can really only have when you're that age and you can believe in certain things, like the world is still a good place.
And I mean, The Goonies was a film really for kids.
Yeah.
Focused around. And Stand By Me was really a film about kids for grown-ups.
Right, and it's heavy as hell. It's real heavy. I hadn't seen it for a long time, and I kind of forgot a lot of plot points. And in the pandemic, at some point, like, we rewatched it, and I was like, shit. Like, it's good, but it's like, dang, like, I've been feeling things.
So my confession is,
yeah,
I saw Goonies for the first time during the COVID lockdown. At age 52, because I figured it'd been so long, I'd never seen it. So we showed it to the kid, and she loved it. And I can tell you, if you don't see it till you're in your 50s, you don't get the magic.
No, you don't. No, I know. And there's flaws. It's funny. It's Richard Donner. Steven Spielberg produced it. You've got a ton of you've got Josh Brolin. You've got, Sean Astin, who was my ultimate crush. But like, there's something magical about it that when you watch it as a kid, I can attest it doesn't transfer over as much as when you're an adult. Because I tried to show it to my husband at the time, and he really didn't get it. He didn't get it. In his late 30s, he was like, it's fine. But like, people are obsessed with this. And I'm like, the people that are obsessed with this movie are the people that saw it when they were like 7 or 8 or 9 years old. And they could really, because it's fun. It's entertaining.
Absolutely. And it's an adventure. And, I know if we were having this discussion with an audience, I would get beat up in an alley for saying this. But it's the same reason why my generation, there's so many Star Wars fans. Like if you were under 10 and saw Star Wars in the theater in 1977, it was the most magical thing that you ever saw.
Totally.
And so now they put out shitty thing after shitty thing in that universe, and you still watch it because it's reminding you of how you felt when you were 9 and saw Star Wars.
Yes.
The truth is, you know, I won't insult Star Wars. I think the first film is actually excellent.
Yes.
But I get it. When you are that age, it's your first it's something made for you that your
it's
parents
weird.
didn't think were cool.
It's a weird movie if you really are thinking about it. It has that weird factor of like, it was definitely made in the 80s. It's stamped all over it of just sort of like, yeah, that's a fun adventure movie, kids and swashbuckling and, you know, this hidden cave and water slides. But then it's like you have the whole Fratelli storyline of just like, what? Like criminals and the brother that they keep locked up, and it's sad and you don't know how you feel about it. But it's just weird. It has that weird factor of like, wait, they would not make this today, I don't think.
Weird is good.
Yeah,
Weird is really good. All right, well, Goonies is your all-time favorite?
All-time favorite.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
I get it. All right, well, how about a film that's underrated?
Okay. This is one that is so underrated. I'm not sure if most people will have even heard of it, but it is The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, directed by Terry Gilliam. It is for a Terry Gilliam movie, it is actually one of his weirder movies, which is saying a lot for anyone who knows Terry Gilliam's work. But it's another one of those movies that I saw it at the right age. I guess it does have an adventure sort of through line to it. There's a fantastical element to it, but it's also just again very weird. But you have like a performance from Uma Thurman in it. I think she plays young Venus, the god Venus. They go to different lands. It's just visually crazy, and all of the effects are practical. And it's also like, it reminded me a little bit of, I don't know if you've seen Station 11. It's a TV show, but it's sort of like actors at the end of the world, like performing Shakespeare, like, we're still relevant. The world is over, but we're doing Hamlet and it matters. And it's sort of like this traveling group of actors, like in the middle of this war-torn country being like, but the art though, like it matters. And they're still putting on shows and like bombs are going off. And I like it a lot.
I love the film. Terry Gilliam is like one of my all-time deities. In fact, I once froze up in an elevator with him in Telluride. And the funny thing is, I'm sure Terry Gilliam doesn't get recognized all the time. Like although the Python nerds probably do. But like I just wanted to tell him how amazing I think Brazil is in all its films, and Munchausen, everything. Munchausen is incredible. Talk about a weird film, the way characters change age based upon the kid's belief in them. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
The performances, like some of them are, hilarious, and some of them are heartbreaking, and it really, it hits you. Like when it hits you, it really does hit you, and it packs a punch. And like, I've gotten emotional watching that movie at certain points, and yet it's so fun. And there's an element of puppetry as well. You've got the puppets, and I just love the idea of like, he also got a lot of money for that movie. I think it was the most money he'd ever gotten for a movie at any time. And then they didn't make any money back. But he said, fuck you. No. I stand by this. I think it stands the test of time. I think people have discovered it.
Absolutely. And I'll totally back the theory that it deserves to be called underrated, because I think a lot of people do acknowledge Gilliam's a master, but they lean towards Fisher King or like my favorite
Monkeys.
Brazil, 12 Monkeys. A lot of the stuff he's done, and Time Bandits is adored.
Oh yeah.
But Munchausen is the one that always kind of gets like, that's like his bomb.
Oh,
so
it's considered.
It deserves to be considered as part of the Gilliam canon.
Oh my God. And also, just not to mention the central performance, which that actor, John Neville, right? He was the butler, right? In the Batman movie in the Keaton years, I believe.
Probably just blowing my mind that I didn't know it.
Yeah, but because that's how I knew him. But then when you see him in this central role, you're like, why was this guy always like the butler in every, like he only played butler parts even when he was young. Like,
that's American typecasting, right?
Yes.
British guys are the baddies or the butler.
The butler.
I'm sure he's been, I bet we could look at his IMDb and he's been in a million BBC shows where he was, and he's probably long-standing. You could tell he's a stage actor.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And he's so good with the little girl, which is young Sarah Polley from Avonlea. And she has gone on to direct films and write films. And she's incredible. She's a dynamo. I mean, love it.
Love the film. I love Eric Idle in it, too.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I had so many quotable lines. It's so... Oh, and Robin Williams, people. Robin Williams in a huge part. It's great. It's weird, people. It's weird.
Oh, my God. He's completely insane in that film. And horny and
sexual.
Ridiculously sexual as the man in the moon. Yeah, he's it was before Fisher King too, so it's kind of cool that Terry Gilliam brought out that super serious side of Robin later. But
oh yeah, because that movie is a masterpiece. I love Fisher King. I love it. But Baron, I don't know. It's one of those movies too where I'm like, man, I wish you'd make. I want to see a movie like this now. They wouldn't make this movie now. It's too weird. Too much of a budget. They wouldn't make it. You know.
And like you said, the practicals are so cool.
It's so cool. It evokes something that you can't get from CG. You just can't. You never would be able to.
All right, well, now let's have some fun.
Uh-oh.
Overrated.
Oh, dear. Okay, there's a lot. I think this is going to be very controversial.
Fair enough.
But my choice is Dirty Dancing. I know.
No, the look on my face is I have a Dirty Dancing, the briefest of stories, which is I think I'm the only one of the few people in the world who never saw the film and did see the Broadway musical.
What?
So Dirty Dancing came out, I think, when I was in college.
Yeah. 87.
I had no interest in I just had no interest. I was into
Chick
underground
movies.
Film. I was into Jim Jarmusch and Spike Lee. I wasn't going to see the dancing movie. I just wasn't going to see it. And then when it became a thing, I'm like, I've never seen Karate Kid either. What can I say? I was into underground gritty shit.
I know what you mean about the Karate Kid thing, especially now that everyone is obsessed with the TV show. I'm like, I don't care. But maybe I should. It just didn't hit me the right way. But with Dirty Dancing, it actually because I went through a period, I think when I was a kid, where I'm like, yes, it's Dirty Dancing and he's so handsome. You don't really understand it. And then you get older and you're like, is she like 16? She's like 16, isn't she? And he's like, I don't know how old he is. This feels problematic. Right? How come we can't talk about that?
That's a side of it. Yeah.
Like she goes on vacation with her family and then meets a dude that's like, how old is he? He's like 27. He's like, he's a dancer. But he's like from the wrong side of the tracks, and she's like the rich family up in the Poconos or something like that. And he actually, it's problematic. I don't care if it's the time period or if maybe that was acceptable. The story is she goes on vacation with her family, a child, and ends up sleeping with a man who's kind of into some stuff that maybe, it's for her young age, the Dirty Dancing. I just don't know how I feel about it. I'm no Puritan. I'm not.
I'm very far from puritanical, but yeah, that's something when you bring in the ages and also. Yeah, he deserved to be fired instantaneously for fraternizing with a minor.
Yeah, it's the minor thing. And then there's the abortion storyline, which is also just, and I know it's supposed to take place in the 60s and they're trying to say something with that, but it's really, I appreciate it for what it is, but I actually do think it's also very problematic. Not to be that person, but I feel like it's problematic too, just in the sense of nobody puts baby in the corner. Well, it's you know what? Baby can take herself out of the corner too, in addition to. She doesn't need Johnny to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's, I part of me wants to say, I haven't seen the film. And I can tell you the musical was terrible.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But And it's not always fair to look at old, things from a previous era with the lens we have today.
Yeah.
But I bet even then it was problematic if you thought about it. I mean, deep down, older men and younger women, it's something that I've always had an issue with ever since the girl I took to the winter formal senior year of high school ended up living with our English teacher the following year.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
oh, God.
So when men can't say to themselves that a girl young enough to be my daughter is someone I shouldn't seduce.
No.
Yeah, it's never hot to me.
No.
It's never hot.
Oh, that's nice to hear, because there's also just a lot of men, especially in this town, that are like, it's like they keep getting older, but their girlfriends stay the same age. Under 30.
You
under
hear that
25.
way too often.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a white male, it's always funny to be considered part of the club and have dudes say things to you like, I think pretty much high school is when women are their most attractive. And you're like,
shut up.
So you are not just worshiping youth, you're worshiping like...
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's problematic. Oh, I know. So you hear things as a guy.
Problematic is a nice way to say wrong.
Yeah, it's just wrong. And it's icky. And you should know better. And what's wrong with you? Come on, get it together.
And Dirty Dancing is a big bowl of creepy. I know the abortion subplot I sort of know about from the musical, I guess. But
because
it's like the clumsy Grease abortion.
Well, yeah, and then like it goes wrong. But the thing that I can't remember is Johnny.
The father has to save the girl.
The father who's the doctor from like a botched abortion. And then he's like, what are you getting involved with here? And she's like, I love him, Daddy. And he's like, well, I don't know. And then and then we get to the nobody puts baby in the corner. And I want to know what happened after that. Like did she go back to like junior year after that? And did he like just do the same thing the next summer with a different girl? Like that's the story, right?
That would have to be what happened next. But she probably went back to high school and went on and on about him. Yeah. And he was already boning other chicks.
He had moved on. Yeah, he was dirty dancing with someone else.
But what are you going to say? All right, good pick for overrated, because Lord knows a lot of people say it's at least they have positive nostalgia for it, if not saying it's a great film. Boy, it gets over that baby in the corner thing gets overquoted.
Yeah, it does. It's gross.
All right, well, the question number 4 of 4 is a lesser-known film that people should seek out.
Okay. So I was really split on this one. But I think that if I had to choose, it would be Slums of Beverly Hills, which is directed by the wonderful Tamara Jenkins. And it stars Alan Arkin and Natasha Lyonne and Marissa Tomei. It's an incredible. I don't know if you've seen it.
I saw it in theaters when it came out.
So did I.
Nice. Oh, you were a little young for it.
I was a child. Yes, but yes, I saw it in theaters, and I just remember my mind being blown that a woman. It was. I think it's 99. I want to say. I think it's 99. I would have been a freshman in high school, and I remember seeing her name come up, Tamara Jenkins, and thinking, oh, a woman can direct a movie? Because up until then, I hadn't really even, I that's how conditioned I was that, well, men are presidents and men direct movies and women are, they don't do those things. My mind was blown because I just thought it was not only such an incredible film and so like the story and the acting and just everything was so wonderful about it, like capturing this young girl at this age of she's getting boobs and she's becoming a woman and the way that the world looks at her is different now and it sucks. And just capturing that very specific moment in time where you realize like, oh shit, I'm like a woman now. I'm not a kid anymore. And now the world treats me this way, but I still feel like a kid. I am still a kid. This is not fair. I think that was my favorite part of it.
All right, so now I'm going to turn into an amateur psychologist, therapist. No, amateur analysis, and point out that you're overrated with Dirty Dancing, and then you're heaping praise on Slums of Beverly Hills, and they're both a woman of the same age, coming of age as a woman, and one is complete Hollywood bullshit, and one is absolutely realistic about how it's not a magical time. It's a stressful, difficult time.
Exactly. And there's an older man involved in both of those movies, but the way that it's handled in Slums of Beverly Hills is like, yo, this is creepy. We don't like him. What are you doing, girl? Don't do that. Don't have sex with him. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then she does, and it's bad. And it's sort of an interesting, because I believe it takes place in the 70s. Even though it was a movie that was made in the 90s, I think it takes place in like the mid to late 70s. And I'm sure LA was its own place in time then. You can attest to that, of like what LA was like in the 70s, 80s. It might be early 80s.
I can attest. I'm just going to share that I went to Jewish sleepover camp and in the 80s, I guess, and or 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And I met Bob Levy. And Bob Levy lived in the slums of Beverly Hills.
Oh, my God.
So I knew that there was a part of Beverly Hills that was lower rent apartments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that side of Beverly Hills that movie captured. Love it. It's not documentary, but it's really close.
So
that's really
real.
close to what a lot of people's lives were.
Yeah.
To live in Beverly Hills in a shitty apartment, going to high school with the people on the other side of the tracks. I mean, it was totally real.
Yeah, no, I believe it. And I also think that that's part of the allure of it for me, watching it at that point, having not lived in LA, knowing nothing about LA, but usually the things that you see of LA, you're like, it's fancy and it's parties and it's happy and it's rich people. And it's like, oh, like these people are struggling. It felt like a really real slice of life to me.
Great film. And I totally blanked. If you had asked me who directed it, I didn't remember.
Yeah.
Jenkins is a genius.
She's incredible. And she also directed The Savages with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Laura Linney.
Yeah.
Which is a great little movie. And
right?
No, that's
I'm mixing up cameras.
Tammy. What's her name?
All right, I take it back.
Patty Jenkins.
Son of a bitch. I got my...
also great, though.
I just committed a sin. Oh, well, I won't edit it.
It's okay.
I'll live with it. Great list.
Thank you. I thought about it.
It makes me want to watch Slums again. I haven't seen it for a long time.
It's my first DVD that I bought ever.
Excellent.
I have it on DVD.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Mine was 2001. I got it before...
Of course.
Before... there was like DVD.com offered 3 DVDs for $1. So I got 2001... that kick in the Bruce Willis, I can't believe I'm blanking on it. I got
Empire of the Sun?
No, the crazy sci-fi one where Bruce Willis is a cab driver.
Oh my God, stop it. People are screaming at us right now. Fifth Element.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that was going to drive me crazy.
Thank you. The Fifth Element. 2001 Fifth Element, and I think Pulp Fiction. And I just ordered the 3.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even have for $1, and then I never had a DVD player. That might be really worth editing out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I will.
I think you should.
Two brain farts at once. Mutual brain fart on the title of a 20, 30-year-old film.
Beloved. It's okay. It happens.
All right. So, excellent list.
Thank you.
Before we go ahead, tell people how to find your film and find you on social media and whatnot.
Yay. Okay, so you can find my film Borrelia Borealis on your VOD platforms, AT&T Uverse, Fandango, YouTube Movies, Google Play, iTunes, Apple, Amazon. Just do a little search for it. You'll find it. And you can find me at Kathryne Isabelle, Kathryne Isabelle.
Excellent. And now I'll go on my rambling. All right, this is the Discover Indie Film Podcast. There's a TV series that was born out of it because I kept talking to filmmakers, and everyone with a feature ended up like Kathryne's film out there, people seeing, and no one ever saw the shorts again. They would just end up on YouTube or Vimeo and disappear. So I talked to a bunch of filmmakers, and we put a bunch of shorts together into a anthology TV series, and it's on Amazon Prime Video. So just go to Prime Video and search for Discover Indie Film and enjoy. There are 4 seasons. Season 5 is actually coming, I think, in March of 2022, which is in 2 months, which means I got some work to do. But And if you want to learn more about this podcast or that TV series, just go to discoverindiefilm.com. And on social media, it's at DIFWins. And by the way, give the TV series 5 stars, give this podcast 5 stars, like it, subscribe, whatever it takes to share a little love in this world. Be kind. And I got to mention 2 film festivals because Kathryne won the award for Best Actress in a Lead Role for Borrelia Borealis at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival in 2021, last November. We have that festival every November. You can learn about it at ShermanOaksFF.com, and it's at ShermanOaksFF on social media. And its sister festival, Film Invasion Los Angeles, happens every June. You can learn about it at Film Invasion LA, and it's FilmInvasionLA.com, and it's at Film Invasion LA on social media. I was reading the wrong line. Because I was thinking about THC Cinema. I was like, am I going to mention THC Cinema or not? If you live in a state where cannabis is legal, like we do, maybe you found that it's nice to watch films with cannabis, with THC in your system. If you like that, go to thccinema.com or at THC Cinema on Instagram and Facebook. Learn about it. It's who knows? Maybe it'll turn into a thing. Maybe it'll be my only legacy. Everyone will forget about the film festival someday and just go, yeah, that's the weed.
Remember the weed
movie
festival?
guy. And it's like, the funny thing is, like, I almost never bothered with weed until, but what can I say? Edibles turn my life around.
Yeah, me too. It's fun.
It is fun, and it's good stress relief in a stressful time with pandemics and all kinds of crazy things going on. Some evenings it's nice just to have an edible or two and chill.
Make some nachos and watch some fun stuff.
That is the problem. I put on a COVID-15, and I think I added 5 because I just walk into that kitchen and I just start eating. But what are you going to do? All right, enough about my uncontrollable munching habits. Thank you, Kathryne Isabelle Easton, for coming in.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for listening.